Hello, Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising. This is February 2024 forecast, and it's going to be an incredibly powerful month where you're feeling a new sense of authentic power because of that Pluto transit through the sign of your ninth house, Aquarius. But also, there's going to be what I call the Pluto party up there, and you're going to feel a lot of intensity around the following themes: publications, visas, travel, courts, legal matters, academic environments, and spirituality and faith. This is going to be an intense constellation of planets up here during the month of February, especially the 16th to the 19th. It's going to really rock your world, but in a very positive way. So stay tuned for how the whole sky plays out. There's many more things happening besides the Pluto party in your ninth house. So we're going to talk about that. And hey, welcome back if you're one of my regulars. And if you're new to my channel, welcome as well. My name is Lori Lothian. I'm using the Western Tropical Zodiac and whole sign houses. I'm trying to help you time your best life using astrology as a navigational tool. So also, if you want to check out my all the stuff I do, courses I teach, and all of that, it's in readings in the description box below. And my 2024 All Signs video is coming to a close for the big fundraising sale every year. You can get that product of 90-minute videos times 12 still at the mere price of $59 to listen for in deep forecast for your sun, moon, and rising, and share it with friends and family. That sale ends February the 1st. So some of you will catch this video just before that. So let's get talking about what goes on here with Mercury. I'm starting with Mercury because Mercury is your guy. We're going to talk about the planetary movements by the way of Mercury, Venus, and Mars in terms of different sign changes this month, and then we'll go chronological. But we do need to talk Mercury because Mercury is the lord of your sign, and he's a big deal in your world, and we're going to talk about him first. So what does Mercury do as lord of the sign of Gemini in the month of February? Well, number one, around February 5th, he leaves the sign of Capricorn. He was there during Mars's rising in Capricorn. That's your eighth house of chunky money. Bottom line, you Gemini sun, moon, and rising people can experience a great deal of prosperity through non-earned income and chunks of money coming in, including inheritances, including royalty or residual income, including good things with banking, finances, and investments over the next 2 years. Please watch my Mars rising video that came out shortly before this one in late January, so that you can tune in to the deep dive understanding of this auspicious, rare Mars rising story in your eighth house. Now, that will be in play for 2 years. So now we see the idea of, the lord of your sign, after hanging out with Mars as he was rising to visibility, blessing the bejesus out of you in your chunky money. Now we see him moving into your ninth house. Now he'll be there February 5th to the 22nd. That is a part of the sky that has to do with travel, visas, passports, and courts. This is good for negotiating a deal, finalizing a legal settlement, getting an application off to university or getting one accepted. This is because colleges and academic settings are here. It's really good for communication with a patriarchal figure or a third marriage partner. And it's also really good for going on a trip. Mercury protects you. He's the patron protector of travelers on the road. He's your lord. This is far off lands and shores that you might visit. It's foreigners as well. So whether you're communicating a lot with far off shores and foreigners, or whether you're traveling to far off shores and foreign places, Mercury's got your back between February the 5th and the 23rd. And then he's also going to be engaged in that Pluto party that's very intense between the 16th and the 19th of February, in which you have Mercury, Pluto, Mars, Venus, and the Sun all bundled up into that ninth house. And so there's a strong feeling on the 16th and the 19th that things to do with the themes I've just outlined, ninth house themes, are on the top of your agenda. And again, whether you travel during that window, or you, especially with Mercury, or you plan the trip, all of those things are positive. Now, if you move into Mercury next, he goes on the 23rd of the month of February and will be all the way till March the 9th, hanging out in your 10th house. Now, this is really good if you're in a career that involves communicating with the larger public, or communicating in any selling or communicating. So careers for marketing, selling, or communicating, Mercury coming through your career house at this time will glow you up in your communicating, marketing, and selling capacity. It's also good for negotiations, agreements, and contracts around getting a job, or negotiating a new position for a job, or new terms of service or reference to your current job, February 23rd to to March the 9th. And if you want to do any kind of communication with a boss during that time, you're likely to find yourself succeeding at getting what you want. Alrighty, you can pull it off, and so to speak, in getting your message across to those people that you work with or that who are over you in your workplace, higher ups above you, especially because Lord Saturn, which can represent your own masterful authority in your career that's emerging now until 2026, indeed, as Saturn is up there, but also the boss or someone above you or the structures above you, Mercury, communication, things can be negotiated February the 23rd to March the 9th. Venus is going to be moving as well through the sky into different places in the month of February. So Venus is moving on January 23rd through to February 15th in Capricorn. Now, she was watching over Mars's rising in your chunky money house. She's a goddess of money, and this is definitely a story along those lines. Be cautious, however, because Mars rising in your 8th house with Venus co-present can indicate that sometime over the next couple of years, you're going to be doing secret love affairs. Oh, well, what can you do, right? Can happen. Forbidden or secret love affairs. Now, what I would also say is that when Venus is in Capricorn until this Venus is in Capricorn until February 15th. It's a really good time for stock investments. Be careful, of course. Don't take advice from astrologers, but you may be able to put a little bit of money into a stock investment and see it prosper, especially because Mars rising here says maybe you can also prosper in stock investments over the next 2 years as well. And you can plant a seed in some kind of investment during that time. And it is Capricorn, so you might want to go with the earth stock like gold, silver, oil, or something like that. Now, as we move forward into Venus's next movement, she obviously gets into your 9th house, one over from your 8th, which is the Aquarius party that's happening here. Now, this is a really nice placement when Venus is moving through your 9th house for you to win it in a court matter. So if there's any legal things that Mars wants to go to bat for you, because Mars will be there as of February 13th as well. Mars, February 13th and March 23rd is in the court and legal matters, and Venus is joining in on February 16th to March the 12th. So you're basically able to win in court, basically, anytime between February the 16th and March the 12th is what I'd say, with both Mars and Venus helping you out there. It's also, with Venus in the 9th house, really good for aligning your purpose or meaning of your life, in a way that is bringing you enjoyment or joy. If you want to plan a trip to a foreign country or take that trip to a foreign country as well, that's a really ideal time to do it because Venus is very protective of you, as well as having Lord Mercury in that part of the sky at the same time. So take trips to a foreign country successfully. Enjoy that process February 16th to March the 12th. That's your ideal foreign lands travel time. It's also good for academic success at the same time. So you might be very much exceeding your expectations in your higher educational direction or getting a book publishing contract or deal, if that's a part of what you do as a Gemini, February 16th to March the 12th. Mars will move through the sky January 3rd, so back in January, through to February 13th in your chunky money house, and I already discussed that he was rising there, and that's all I need to say. He's kicked off a storm of what can be chunky money success. But then on February 13th to the March the 23rd timeframe, February 13th to March the 23rd, he goes into Aquarius, and again, what are you doing? Are you battling in court and winning the day? Are you charging passionately into a book publishing deal? Are you engaging with great excitement and willpower in a publication of some kind, a podcast, a posting, publication of a book? Mars up here can also be conflict, but he also loves to adventure. So we get a lot of travel energy here, but watch for conflict with 9th house peoples. That can be patriarchal father figures. Watch for difficulties in conversations with people in spiritual communities or in, religious settings. That could be a little gnarly, February 13th to March the 23rd, but it can also simply be a part of that larger travel story that Venus wants you to do, February 16th to March the 12th. All right, now we're moving into the blow by blow of what goes on in a chronological order during the month ahead. Let me flip the script. All righty. As we go forward in the month, let's start with a general concern. A lot of astrologers will probably talk about Jupiter sextile Saturn, which is ongoing from the last week of January to the second week of February, but it does not perfect. And that makes me a little concerned that it's great, good, but not great. And so perfecting, it never comes into a perfect sextile. It did that last June. And it won't do that again until 2080. So honestly, it's kind of like it's there, but it's not really as good as it should be. So one thing I'd say for you is that Saturn is in your career space trying to make you authoritative, trying to give you a sense of a mastery up there. But you can also find that he's getting to the top of a mountain, he's tired. And some of you, Gemini sun, especially for career, but Gemini rising too, maybe feeling like you're getting ready to leave behind or peak out on some career path. Just keep that in mind. And Jupiter is lending support to Saturn in your career space, in your reputation space, right up at the top of the sky, from the place that is the 12th house of foreign and far off places. This can look like this 10th house, 12th house matter, that you're generating more abundance and prosperity and revenue from foreign countries, basically maybe online payment processors, international borderless revenue, international companies. But it's not as good as you thought it could be. It's not as great as it should be. At the same time, Jupiter here is really good at helping you dive into some new educational direction. And with a stellium of planets in your ninth house, that's a good idea. And some of you may be prompted to actually begin some new course of education during this window of time. Whether you're applying or you're actually taking the course, it's possible that those things are in play in the first 2 weeks of February, and they may be starting up in the last week of January. Next, we're going to talk about Venus, and she will sextile Uranus. Happy surprises, February 7th and 8th. Okay, so who doesn't want a happy money surprise? Because that's what this is. She's in the house of chunky money and inheritances. 12th house is hospitals. I don't wish this upon you. It could be somebody in the hospital says they're going to give you some kind of bequeathment. There's also a surprise element with you, a happy surprise. Uranus is always surprises. Jupiter's there, beneficent surprises. An opportunity or a surprise for a financial reward connected to foreigners and foreign places. But maybe with Venus and Capricorn also a surprising opportunity for a secret love affair, February 7th and 8th. Okay, keep it in mind. On February the 8th to the 9th, Mars will sextile Neptune. Well, Mars is in Capricorn, and that's your 8th house of chunky money where he's been rising. So he's still on that story, but he flows to Neptune in your 10th house of career. Money and chunks of money generated through passive income to do with Neptunian themes. TikTok, passive income from YouTube revenue, ad revenue, really getting a nice boost. Income from your 401k, your investments, your mortgages are working well, but it seems to be connected to your career. You might get a business financing deal here, a co-financing, a business partnership emerging that connects to your career dreams and visions on this 8th and 9th of February. On the 10th of February, Mercury is going to square Jupiter. Now, this is going to be also followed up later by a Mars-Jupiter square. So Jupiter's getting a lot of tension in your sky, and he's kind of in a house of self-undoing, self-sabotage. Maybe where the 12th house, you have a tendency for overindulgence in substances or patterns and habits that aren't good for you, especially as Jupiter can make those indulgences more obvious or expand them. He's been here since last May and will be in your 12th house until the end of this May. And so now you're really able to see, the overindulgence or overexpansion of pleasures that may not be good for you. And we're going to note that Mercury is a god of communication, information, and news. And on February 10th, give or take a day on either side, he comes into a difficult conversation from the 9th house to your 12th house. Now, literally, it could be travel plans abroad, coming into some hairpin turn of change and not working and having to realign those plans. It could be something as simple as that. But then on the other hand, it could be getting some educational information or news that helps you come to terms with the overindulgence of pleasures that aren't good for you. But it's a hard conversation because it's a square, and so it can feel a little bit like, maybe a come to Jesus hard moment, making choices around foreign travel, foreign trips, foreign excursions, and sabotage, self-undoing. Also, education. You could be getting information about an educational application. It may feel like critical or time sensitive and urgent around February the 10th. On February 13th, Venus will sextile Neptune. She is in Capricorn, your chunky money house, and Neptune is in Pisces. It's money and career, beauty and flow and ease. Nice little sweet spot in your money as it relates to your career. Then like getting a grant, getting a chunk of money, getting a severance package, getting a sign-on bonus, getting a uplift financially through career and reputation matters. Clearly, if you're on YouTube or anything like that, with the videography platforms being Neptunian, then you may get a swoop of income or money coming through your sky around that time, February the 13th, give or take a few days on either side. Then on February 13th to the 15th, we'll have a Mars in conjunction to Pluto in Aquarius, power, intensity, will, drive, commander-in-chief energy. Now, it can be intense. There's no doubt about it. And it is going to be a very intense energy in that ninth house. Mars is a god of accidents. Pluto is a god of death. And this is a house of foreign lands. I wouldn't travel to a foreign land if I were you on the 13th or the 15th. And don't take me too seriously because it does flow to your ascendant. But it's just like, okay, what is that thing anyway? You could have some kind of powerful edict from a judge. Venus is up there making sure, if she can anyway, that it works out on your behalf, that it works as a favor to you. She'll be emerging there on the 16th. The combination is like power, power, action, power, decisions, power, command. And it can be another person in your life. Like it can be a father figure or your third marriage partner having a powerful moment of opportunity or goodness in their lives. And it may not really all be about you. On the other hand, you could powerfully quit your religion at that time. You might just lose your religion. I'm losing my religion. You're like, I'm out of here. Powerful decisions to quit your religion. February 13th to the 15th. On the 19th or so, the 19th at 16 degrees of Aries, there's going to be the North Node, Chiron conjunction, very rare. And that energy is leaning towards something to do with healing your sense of not belonging to the groups of friends or social groups that are around you. You've been feeling out of touch with your social group since 2019, like you don't fit in somehow, that you're the outsider, the wounded one. And you're either exacerbating the wound to heal it or just healing that wound in a very powerful way on February the 19th, 2024. And I have a whole separate video. I've done that on that already with Candice Marie of another channel, Beyond the Veil, Tarot and Astrology, and I'll be doing a follow-up video, so definitely get deeper dives into that content than I can cover here. It's a big deal transit. And a friend could have a wound, right? I mean, it may not be about you. North Node, Chiron, something's going on with some elder sibling or a friend, and they're going through a really difficult time, and you're being made aware of it February the 19th or so, give or take a few days on either side. Then we move into the hot sizzling lovers connecting. Cosmic lovers of Venus and Mars are on top of each other in a tight conjunction on February the 20th, and it lasts until about the 23rd in Aquarius. Well, if you're traveling, this can be super sexy for a hot romantic getaway trip. So think about travel destinations. If you want to have a hot lovers romantic getaway, if you're single, you can meet a partner on a romantic foreign land getaway, February 20th to the 23rd. If you're in an academic setting, you might fall into a massive attraction and intense love affair energy around somebody in your classroom setting, all that stuff. Now, Mars can be anger and hate, and Venus can be love and peace, And so those two are coming into a meshing themselves together. So it's very intense. Very intense energy up in that ninth house. I'll do a longer video on this because it's a part of a synodic cycle between Mars and Venus, and it's kind of starting a new one and completing an old one. But if you are at all thinking that you want to travel, and these two are going to come together on the 20th to 23rd. I think it can be, and Pluto's up there, one of the most transformative, intense energies of your life. So think about your travel plans if you're to foreign countries, and bite your fingernails. Same with legal matters and court matters and book publishing matters. It's a very intense energy up there. Positive though, probably because it flows to your ascendant, but intense. Okay, and organizations that are non-NGO, humanitarian organizations, or what do you call those people? Human resource departments in companies can be ninth house matters. I wonder if some of those are very intense, intense synergy going on in that area of your reality on the 20th to the 23rd. And then on February 26th to the 28th, just like Mercury squared Jupiter on February 10th, now Mars is squaring Jupiter on February 26th to the 28th. This is a Mars in Aquarius squaring off with Jupiter in Taurus. Well, this is going to be something to do with a desire to radically move forward and with a sense of opportunity and hope that's embedded in something. And yet there may be a need to pause. For example, this is classic. I want to travel to that foreign country. I want to, make a move to that country. And Jupiter in the 12th house of far off lands that you can move to is like squaring off with Mars because he's ambitiously declaring this is the thing, let's go for it. So the problem here, if there's going to be a problem, the problem is the urgency may not be merited. Slow it down. Don't go with the urgent choices. Decisions made under a tight square like this can be a little bit impetuous or a little bit premature. So just give yourself some breathing room about choices, decisions, and actions you might take regarding foreign places, foreign lands, and educational setting and environments on the 26th to the 28th of February. Last but not least, on February 28th, Mercury, Sun, and a Saturn in a triple conjunction. It's a Mercury cazimi in the heart of the sun with Saturn right there at 9 degrees of Pisces. Well, this is your career space, guys. So your career and reputation space is having a deep dive into a reset, reboot button. And Mercury can get divine downloads and through the sun. And Saturn gives you lasting value for those divine downloads. This is a really interesting time because it could reset the direction in the 6 weeks that follow of your career path and how you perceive the best way to market, sell, speak, negotiate things around your career. Saturn can represent the boss or someone in power above you or your own mastery and authority. And the sun is the divine will. And all of this, these three planets are flowing to Jupiter, right? And Jupiter is in Taurus. So this whole last week, I say February 28th, but just go the last, let's go from the 26th to the 28th. You're feeling this energy. And the cazimi on the 28th is exact. So, trying to define it for you is something like, Jupiter is in the 12th house. Career opportunities from foreign entities, foreign companies, foreign shores, foreign people, career opportunities that connect to educational opportunities, career opportunities that connect to backroom deals and negotiations. These are all kinds of themes that can be there. And the cazimi itself may not be a big thing. You could download and take my free webinar. Check the description box below for how to use this. I'll be talking about stars and asteroids involved, but it can just be like a career reset button, basically. But it's got Jupiter, the god of luck, sextiling it, and god of abundance. So it's going to increase your wealth. This reset button will increase your wealth. The reset, the change may not be on the 28th, but look at what happens. Emails, phone calls, text messages, ideas, downloads, divine downloads around the 28th, because day or two on either side, because that could be where this prosperity comes from in the long run, in the long game after this. Okay, then that's a really wonderful cazimi for you. Thanks, Gemini, for listening. I hope this is useful. Don't forget, my Patreon community gets everything early access ad-free. They get this on the 23rd of January, so you can join my Patreon community and catch the special before it ends at the end of this month of January. And also just look below. I teach Sky Reader every year. I think it's going to be mid-March this year. You want to get on the wait list for that 6-week class, teaching you how to be your own astrologer and time your best life. It's for beginner to intermediate, but I wouldn't go in if you don't even know what a planet is or you've never even thought about astrology before. I try to catch you up on the basics of what the planets, the houses, but it's taking you along the line of learning to do some divine timing techniques with astrology. So the whole point is to help you learn some predictive tools. Alrighty. So that class is probably going to start up in mid-March. And if you want to join in to that class, 6-week class, please check the description box for the wait list so you'll get early access and early bird discounts. All right. Ciao, ciao. Thanks for listening.